Hey everyone, welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today's video is going to be about Bitcoin mining stocks, seeing where they're at with the recent sell-off that has been happening with Bitcoin and crypto. As you can see, in the crypto world, we're still up in greed, not in extreme greed like we were about a week ago, but we're still up there. And something you'll notice, at least since early March, is we've been in this minor downtrend. But I am wondering, kind of like how we look at charts on TradingView, if maybe we're just going to be creating a higher low somewhere soon before going higher. I'm wondering, we'll see. If we zoom way out for fear and greed, we have not been this high in greed since Bitcoin broke all-time highs in 2021, past its 2017 tops, or when we had that mid-cycle top. Taking a look at that on the Bitcoin rainbow chart, this was the time that greed was really high, again, when it was breaking all-time highs from 2017, and here's the mid-cycle top. We've reached a new all-time high recently before the halving, but the halving is coming up very soon, any day now, so we'll see where it's at. Something I've noted before is that each halving, we go up a zone on this chart. So the first halving, we were in this blue zone. Second halving, the buy zone. You can see that next rainbow color. Third halving, we're up in the accumulate zone. In the fourth halving, you can see we are right now in that green zone, the 52.5 to 68.5 area. So I've been wondering if this would happen. We got over 70, and I wasn't so sure. But it looks like this pattern, at least, is still going to continue. As far as stocks, because we are taking a look at Bitcoin mining stocks, though I think looking at crypto is more applicable, you can see we've had this recent drawdown into neutral territory and now fear because we're under 50%. CNN, same thing. So going over to the charts, here's where we're at on Bitcoin. And I have my candles on the Heikin-Ashi, which I like more personally. And this orange line is the 50 moving average. Bitcoin, the price has gone underneath that. So I'm looking for the 100, somewhere around 59. We also have this wick back here, which was around 59.5 as well. This wick low matched this one here, all the way from March 20th. Altcoins have been going down a lot, and a big reason for that has been Bitcoin dominance going up. Now, when Bitcoin dominance comes down within a span of 2 to 5 weeks, that's when the altcoins, the miners, go crazy. So it's not a bad thing that Bitcoin dominance is going up. I'm curious to see what it's going to do around these two trend lines, one from this former support and this trend line coming down, hitting this peak before we had that big sell-off. But when Bitcoin dominance, however high it gets, when it comes down to the 40 percentiles, the low 40s, that will be the time to take profits, or at least that's been the time the last two cycles before. Let's get into our mining stocks. First of all, taking a look at Marathon Digital Holdings. And I had a comment in the video last week talking about how things are oversold. So I wanted to throw on the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, and see if we are truly oversold. Now you can see here the bottoms on the weekly for this RSI. I could draw a trend line. You can see this right here just on your screen. I don't want to see this get lower to the oversold area around 30. If so, then we're creating a new trend. But then, obviously, that can reverse. So on the weekly, we're at the 0.5, and all these moving averages are clustered together. So let's zoom in. We're below the 200-day moving average and that 0.5 fib. So that's not good. You can see we're holding these wicks back here. There's some price action candles that we're holding on to, but should this get lower, next area I would take a look at to possibly dollar cost average in would be this high $10 range. And if it got lower. Just take a look at the fib. When we draw the fib from the prior high to the low, make sure it's on log scale, and that's where I see the possible prices. After that, then $6, $7. Now you will see on the daily, right now it is oversold. And something I've noticed, at least this happens quite a bit, not always, but when the R side does get oversold, sometimes it'll double, triple tap again. And if you're willing to be patient or dollar cost averaging more, on the second time it gets oversold, soon after you can see the price goes lower. So something to look for. This may not be the real low, kind of like back here. And maybe the R side comes up and then back down. And then we can get Marathon somewhere around $11. But no two ways about it. Things are bearish right now. They're selling off. But again, even if it got down to this $10, $11 range, we're still trending up. And that could just be a higher low that you can dollar cost average into. Next, let's take a look at RIOT. And RIOT, this one's not looking good at all. So you can see we had this trend line back here, broke through it. We had this trend line moving up, broke down through that. And right now, it really looks like RIOT's coming down to this $7 range, that there's a lot attracting it there. We're oversold, okay? Again, just like I talked about back here, take a look at the price, take a look at the RSI. Next time it gets oversold, we can go a little bit lower. So here, would I be dollar cost averaging in? Sure, if you like RIOT, but do know it can go lower, and I'd be targeting this fib of 692. Anything on the weekly? Nah, pretty much the same. So, looking overall bearish for RIOT. Now here you notice the candle body is touching these lower wicks. So could this be a possible base? Sure. But historically, you can see that when we are under the 50 on the RSI, hasn't been the worst time to dollar cost average in. Not saying it can't go lower, but just putting in a little bit. I also wouldn't want to catch a falling knife either. So me personally, I'd wait for on any of these. I'd look for some green candles, some accumulation, maybe some buy signals on another indicator to turn it around. But you can see there wouldn't be any buy signals now. It's just bearish. Let's go to Clean Spark. CLSK. All right. You can see Clean Spark got below the 50-day moving average, and it's coming down, kind of touched the 100. The 100-day moving average is around 13.5, and we have the 786 fib at 12.5. So look for it to settle somewhere down there. You can see when Clean Spark was oversold, it only touched it once. And this will happen for stronger stocks as well. Sometimes things like Apple, Microsoft, it only touches once down in the oversold region or at 50 and then bounces. So Clean Spark, maybe it's going to get deeper into oversold, get to this fib, get to this moving average, and then maybe form a base. So Clean Spark, not looking as bad as RIOT. But you can see here, we got down to the 100 before, rode the 50 and went up. Maybe we're doing the opposite here. So we never know how deep or how sold off a stock, a crypto is going to get. But in my opinion, if you really like something, believe in it, when it's at or below the 100 or 200 weekly, especially, tends to be good times to buy. So that's what we got for Clean Spark. CIFR mining. All right. We have that new, because this is a newer-ish mining stock. We had the 100-week appear not too long ago. Let's take this fib. It's clearly not on a log. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we're at the 618 on the weekly. We've come down to the 50 moving average. Right now, it is acting as support on the weekly. And what we can see here is we're at the 200-day moving average and possibly getting below it. So if this is me personally speaking, if CIFR was something I really liked, believed in, did my research, I loved it, This 200-day moving average, that's been a juicy time to buy. And I know when it's going down, it's not always exciting to want to buy, but it could be a good area to possibly dollar cost average in. Of course, not financial advice. And of course, we could go lower back down to this 0.5 fib here around 240, 250. But here at 330, you can see we're oversold. And who knows? Maybe we'll be forming a base sometime soon. Maybe not. Next, let's go over to CIFR WULF. And CIFR WULF drew these two trend lines, wondering if we would kind of bounce back into it. It looks like maybe we're going to. Now we have all these moving averages converging together, seem to be riding on that 100 and 200. And the RSI, this is as low as it's been really for a while. We haven't been too far underneath it since last November. So it's possible it could get there. And if so, if we continue this trend line further, I would be taking a look at these areas of $1.60, $1.50. Really doesn't matter. They're both close together. But if it were to fall lower, that's the next price targets I would be looking for. And so far, I mean, keep checking it every week, and I'll keep doing these videos every week. If we get a turnaround, get a weekly buy signal next week, then maybe we are going to get a turnaround. But sometimes those can be fake outs too, the indicators that are buy signals. Bit Digital kind of reminds us of RIOT, does it not? Where we had this price action and we're working below it. So on the daily, we are just touching into the oversold region. Again, like I mentioned, when we touch the oversold region later, we can go lower. And so myself, I'd be willing to be patient if I did like Bit Digital. If you dollar cost averaging a little right now, sure, maybe you're just looking at throwing some money when the value is good. But right now it's just a falling knife. And I'd wait for some structure turnaround on the RSI. You can see here when the RSI was getting higher, the price is going lower. That's bullish divergence. So if we start to see that happen where the RSI, right now it's in a downtrend, and who knows how much longer it's going to stay down here, maybe a month, we'll see, or a few weeks. But if the RSI starts to move up and the price is still moving down a little bit, that could be bullish divergence and could be it could be a good area to buy in. So this $1.40 area, I don't think it's too bad to buy. Or if you see some sideways price structure, some possible accumulation, watch out for that. Bitfarms again, more of the same. Now we do have this trend line from these lows. I've been wondering if it gets here, and if so, if it gets underneath, because we do have all this price structure back here. So we'll see if this trend line holds somewhere around $1.60, but the next fib underneath that is a $1.30. You can see we are oversold. But again, this looks like one of those where when it tends to stay oversold, we can still go lower. And then you can notice here we're going up on the RSI, lowering the price a little bit. It wasn't as clear and obvious of a bullish divergence, but I would take a look at this possibly coming down again in the price, getting lower, and maybe as low as a $1.30. So guys, I'll say this: if you did your research and you really loved your Bitcoin mining stock, if you aren't getting more excited for lower prices, in my humble opinion, you shouldn't be buying into it. So I take that approach with any stock, whether it's Apple or whatever. If I've done my research, I really love a stock, I don't care if it gets lower in price. I get more excited and I look for that deeper value. But I also look for good price structure, some accumulation, hitting the moving averages, hitting the fibs, maybe being double oversold on the RSI, a buy signal on the weekly or monthly. Those are other factors you can look at as well. But I know it can be disheartening to see a stock you like go lower. But again, that's an opportunity to buy at a discount. And if you don't want to buy it at a discount and you've bought it at a higher price, then you should have never bought it. So here we've gotten below this trend line. Now you can see there is some price action back here that it's honoring, but we'll see if it goes lower. Now the RSI, again, you can see here, oversold. Look at the price. Next time we were oversold, way lower. But if you would have bought it around the next time we were oversold, man, that would have been a good deal. Okay? Now, buying it back here when I first got oversold, okay, we're at break even right now, and we haven't gotten quite oversold on the daily yet. Going over to the weekly, yeah, we don't have the 100 just appeared, and it's more of a resistance type deal. So going over to the daily for Iris, you could say maybe right here, not bad, because we have this price action support and we have this trend line. So it could be the start of an area to dollar cost average in. Otherwise, this fib around 360 wouldn't be bad. And then we could also draw a sideways line, but you can take a look at this dotted line right here. 290 could be a possible area we get back to for IREN if you like it. CORZ Scientific. I've told you guys before, newer altcoins, be careful. We never know if these things can rug completely, because this one, compared to other mining stocks, it has a market cap that should give you some pause here. Okay, it's $469 million. You know, the daily is as low or as short of a time frame that I personally like to consider whether or not to buy or sell into things. Anytime a new stock IPOs or a new altcoin, if it comes out near the all-time highs for Bitcoin and it's crypto related, guys, I've seen it turn into a falling knife like every time. So do be careful. We are testing those lows. Should we get underneath it? Look out below. However, on the flip side of things, you can see the RSI. We are matching those lows. But if this starts getting lower, we have nothing on this chart to say how low it can go. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. Quicker video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm trying some new things with the channel. If there are any altcoins, I do videos on altcoins available on Coinbase that you'd like for me to take a look at on the charts. Let me know in the comments below, as well as stocks, because I like to take profits from crypto that I make and roll it over into strong stocks. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Have a great week. Take care.